So here's the side of the workshop here. Got some heavy equipment to use, which will be nice. Here's the old goat barn. It's falling apart, but it was hand built by my wife's grandfather, so we're not going to tear it down. We're just going to make some improvements on it and do some upkeep. I got to get in there and really do a good clean out. Haven't decided if we're going to do the chickens in here or just let this remain the goat barn, but the other side of the property really needs the goats since it's overgrown. So I'm not sure. This might just remain storage. Who knows? We'll see. What do you guys think? Here's the back side in the goat barn. Got lots of fencing material here. We'll be able to utilize all this. Let's go take a peek inside, huh? This used to be an azalea farm, so as you can see, those were the starter pots. Well, not starter pots, but those were the initial transplant pots for the azalea bushes. There's something like 20,000 azalea bushes on this property. Ooh, look at down there. Gonna have to do some wine, some homebrew. There's one of the back trails that leads back into our woods. Here's the old secret garden, as the kids call it. Just kind of a nice little sitting area between the woods and the house area. It's used to have a fire pit back here. There's the grill for it, but yeah, there used to be a fire pit back here, and you just come back and sit at night, or the kids can come back and put a tent back here and have some fun, just be a kid again. This leads back to our lake, our pond, whatever you want to call it. I'd call it a pond, but it's got fish in it. But this is the kind of leads down into there, and that's the property line. Goes to the neighbors. He's got a nice lake over there too. Big pastures, open pastures. Oh good, the lake has dropped. We have a beaver problem, and as you all know, they do not like the sound of running water, and our overspill was completely covered by them, and this path yesterday was completely underwater. And I wish I would have filmed this. I just kind of, it was an impromptu project. I had to get the chest waders on, and right there is the drain, as you can see. And as you can see, the beavers kind of really, all that stuff pushed up against it. I had to walk out into there and clear everything I could out of that by hand, just kind of pulling it off to let it drain off into the backside to our neighbor's property where his lake is. And as you can see, where we can cross this again, this was about a foot underwater, so it was kind of a pain taking the gator across. But so that's just from yesterday. That's good. So it worked. But we do have the beaver infestation. The issue, we got a permit for to trap them, to get rid of them, which is nice. But we did get a permit to trap the beavers. We picked up a few traps. Their dam is somewhere back in there. I found a few slides where they're coming in and out, and we'll take care of those beavers. And this is where that drain leads off to, and it goes back to the neighbor's lake. Right back in there, and it fills in. So I bet you he's happy that we increased his water supply. But we're gonna have to do the permanent solution and remove what's causing the damage. Beavers, be warned. Your days are numbered. Father-in-law found that skull on the property a couple years ago. We have it just sitting on the fence, so we have deer here, which will be nice. We do have the gate right here, but this was installed just to keep the goats from going to the back half. But this is still our property up in here. I'll take you guys up there. Road splits here. It does a loop around the entire property way back up in there. Loops back that way, and there's also the trail kind of comes back up there and up towards the house. And here loops around the lake. I'm gonna put a couple of trails in here. Well, there was trails in the past, they're just overgrown. I got to bring the tractor up in here and clear some out. We had some storms this week, which downed a few trees. My son and I took care of the ones that were blocking the path yesterday. Took the old Husqvarna chainsaw out and did some man choring. We have a downed oak, and we're going to setting up a makeshift type mill. Our goal on this is to, get our own lumber and build an old farm table out of a tree that is from our property. I just think that'd be fun. So just one of the many projects that are on the list. Thing needs some cleaning up. It's still solid, but there's a lot of good wood there that can be used. We have a ton of woods. So I'm in heaven. This fence in here is our property line, and there's we're not sure who owns that back in there, but the deer cross through here all the time, and it's just thick woods back in there as well. I'm not even sure if it's, I know it's private, but we don't know what neighbors own this, or if it's part of the guy who had the lake up there at the pasture. We're not quite sure. Alright, our trail kind of goes all the way back up in there to the property line, and there is a house right back up in there. As you can see, that kind of goes up the borders up their backyard, kind of borders up against the property. Real nice people though. But yeah, as you can see, we got a lot of woods. I didn't want to go up there and kind of film up by the back of their house. I just thought that'd be kind of rude to give them some privacy, the house that's up there. So kind of bypassed, didn't film up there, but just kind of loops around some more of this property line. Comes back up around the lake up here. So, and then borders the other small house that my wife and kids are going to be staying in for the next year. it's got up there. It kind of borders that property, and our fence line hits that one as well, and that's an additional 5 acres. Just kind of, but that's super thick woods, and that's what our main purpose of the goats out of the gate is to let them get in there. We'll kind of put up a little house for them to get away from predators at night, and fence in that entire 5 acres of the thick woods, and let the goats go in there and just have at it and clear it out for us from at least, you know, head down, and give us some, make it accessible for us, so we can get in there and do some more fun stuff in there, some hunting in there, or what have you. There's endless possibilities for more property, right? So we're just gonna play it by ear, take things as they come, try to do as much as I can. But I'm almost overwhelmed right now with what needs to be done or what can be done. It's the problem is finding a spot or a part to start with, or just a starting point, and go from there. I guess I just gotta make a list A, B, C, D, and just start hitting it from A on. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll show you guys some of the back half, and I'll take you over to the barn of the little house and show you the work I've got in there. There's some mud daubers, some wasps in there that have nested up, and there's a lot. I walked in there yesterday or the day before, and there was probably 50 of those things flying in there, and I could see their nests all over in the walls and the wood. And they didn't really bother me, but they gotta go. I'm gonna be probably turning that partial part of that into a chicken coop and a workshop, butcher house. You know, it's kind of partitioned out into separate areas. It's got a garage door on the backside with a concrete slab, so we got to see what we got to do with that. But I've got to get them mud daubers out of there first. That's the first on the list. And then there's a lot of scrap wood in there, so well, it's gonna be fun. Any of you guys know what kind of mushroom that is? I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments down below if you know what that is, because it is filled with it out here. Lots of orange ones. They got to be good, right? So right in here was the tree that uprooted and came across the trail that my son and I made short work of. As you can see, we came through here and cleared all that out so our gator can pass through on this part of the trail. And we're on the back side of the lake here. We just saw some turtles dropping down. The bass are out this morning eating the skeeters. That's coming down from the neighbor's house that's up there that I showed you earlier. This is still all ours up in there. And the path is way up there and just comes back down around and loops down to here. And right in here is where the creek feeds into our lake. That's the water supply for it, as you can see. Here's the original fence property line, but like I said, this is the part of the new 5 acres that we got, and it goes back to the small house. And there's something really cool up here I want to show you. So these are on the property. I don't know what type of car they are, if they're trucks, cars. I'll try to get up close. I know my buddy Tom Noble can probably tell me what these are if he had a better look. They're upside down. If that helps, guys. Got some bullet holes in it, huh? Anybody know what that is? Just by the dash. Here's where our trail kind of crosses over the creek and then up to the back side of the pool into the house. Right back up in there. I don't feel like walking through that mud right now, so I think we're gonna go back up this trail and around the lake and come back up, and then we'll call it a day for this side of the property. Next video I'll try to cover the small house property and the barn and all the fun stuff that goes along with that. So I'm glad you guys stopped by to watch this. I'm looking forward to all the new content that I'm able to provide for you guys with this land. So thanks for stopping by, guys.